AITA for refusing to marry the man my father chose. Medieval Europe, 1347. What happens when duty collides with desire? When family legacy crashes against personal happiness? In medieval Europe, one young woman had to choose between a marriage that would secure her family's future and a love that could destroy everything. Welcome back to If Reddit Existed Back Then, where we explore the impossible moral dilemmas of people who lived centuries before us. Today we're traveling to England in the year 1347, just before the Black Death swept across Europe, where a 16-year-old noblewoman faces a choice that will define the rest of her life. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we bring you a new historical deep dive every single week. And trust me, this one gets intense. Let's read her post. RR Medieval Nobles, posted by user Lady Isabella, daughter of Hastings, in the year 1347. Title: Am I the asshole for refusing to marry the 54-year-old lord my father chose for me when I'm in love with someone else? My name is Lady Isabella of Hastings. I am 16 years old, the eldest daughter of Baron Robert of Hastings, lord of 3 villages and vassal to the Earl of Kent. I've been raised my entire life to understand one thing. My purpose is to marry well and strengthen my family's position. I always accepted this. I never questioned it. Marriage is politics, not romance. That's what my mother taught me from the cradle. Love is for peasants, she said. Nobles have duty. But then I met Edmund, and now I'm questioning everything. Let me start from the beginning, because this situation is far more complicated than just a girl refusing a suitor. My family's entire future hangs in the balance, and I'm the one holding the knife. My father, Baron Robert, is not a wealthy man. Our lands are productive but small. We have maybe 200 peasants working our fields, a modest manor house, and just enough income to maintain our status. We're noble, yes, but we're the kind of noble that greater lords barely acknowledge. For years, my father has been trying to climb the ladder. He's fought in the king's campaigns in France, curried favor at court, made connections wherever he could, but true advancement requires something he doesn't have: powerful alliances through marriage. That's where I come in. 6 months ago, my father announced that he had secured a betrothal for me. Lord William of Blackmore, a baron with estates 3 times the size of ours, had agreed to take me as his 3rd wife. The marriage would unite our families, give my father access to William's political connections, and secure my younger brother's futures. There was just one problem. Lord William is 54 years old. His first wife died in childbirth 20 years ago. His second wife died of a fever 5 years ago. He has 7 children already, the oldest of whom is 32, older than twice my age. When my father told me, I felt my stomach turn. I'd seen Lord William at court functions. He's not cruel, from what I hear. He doesn't beat his servants or starve his peasants. But he's old, his hair is gray, his teeth are rotting, and he walks with a limp from a war wound. He smells like sour wine and old meat, and I'm supposed to share his bed, bear his children, call him husband. I told my father I needed time to prepare myself. He gave me 3 months. The wedding is set for the autumn harvest festival when the roads are still passable and the lords can travel. That was 6 months ago. The wedding is in 2 weeks, and I still can't do it. Here's the part that makes everything worse. Edmund, Sir Edmund of Ashworth, is a knight in my father's household. He's 23 years old, the 3rd son of a minor lord with no inheritance and no prospects beyond his sword arm. He came to our manor 2 years ago seeking service, and my father hired him to train our guards and protect our lands. I noticed him immediately. How could I not? He's tall, with dark hair and green eyes that seem to look right through you. He moves like water, graceful and dangerous. When he practices swordplay in the courtyard, I watch from my window. When he rides out to patrol the borders, I find excuses to be near the stables when he returns. For a year, I admired him from afar. I knew nothing could happen. I'm a baron's daughter. He's a landless knight. The gap between us is wider than the English Channel. But then, 3 months ago, everything changed. There was a fire in the village. One of the cottages caught flame in the middle of the night, and the wind was spreading it fast. My father was away at court, and my mother was useless in a crisis. Someone needed to organize the response. Edmund took charge. He directed the bucket chains, pulled families from burning buildings, even rescued a child who was trapped in a collapsing structure. He was covered in ash and burns by the time the fire was contained, but he'd saved half the village. I brought him water and bandages afterward. Our hands touched. He looked at me with those green eyes and said, "Thank you, my lady." And something inside me broke. After that night, we started talking. At first, just brief conversations in the hallway, then longer discussions in the garden, then stolen moments in the chapel where no one would think to look for us. He told me about his childhood, about being the 3rd son who knew he'd never inherit anything, about choosing the sword because it was the only path open to him, about his dreams of earning enough glory to buy his own small estate someday. I told him about the pressure I felt, about the marriage I was dreading, about how I sometimes wished I'd been born a peasant so I could choose my own life. He said, "Even peasants don't always get to choose, but at least they're not sold like cattle at market." I said, "Is that what I am? Cattle?" He said, "No, you're the most extraordinary woman I've ever met, and you deserve better than being traded for political advantage." That was the night he kissed me. I know it was wrong. I know I'm betrothed. I know that what we're doing could destroy both of us. But when he kissed me, I felt alive for the first time in my life. Not like a chess piece being moved across a board, like a person. We've been meeting in secret for 2 months now. Nothing beyond. Kisses and whispered promises. He's too honorable to take my virtue when I'm promised to another man. But we've talked about running away together, about escaping to France where no one knows us, about building a life where we can be together. It's a fantasy. I know it's a fantasy. He has no money. I have no skills beyond embroidery and household management. We'd be penniless within a year. But when he holds me and tells me he loves me, the fantasy feels more real than the future my father has planned. Last week, I finally told my mother about Edmund. Not everything, but enough. I told her I had feelings for someone else, that I couldn't marry Lord William, that I would rather enter a convent than share that old man's bed. Her reaction was worse than I expected. She slapped me hard across the face, left a bruise that I'm still covering with powder. Then she grabbed my shoulders and shook me. She said, "Do you have any idea what you're risking? Do you know what happens to families who break betrothals? Lord William will demand compensation. Your father will have to pay a fortune we don't have. Our reputation will be ruined. Your brothers will never find good marriages. We'll lose everything." I said, "I don't love him," she said. "Love? Love? You think your grandmother loved your grandfather? You think I loved your father when we married? Love is something that grows over time, Isabella. You learn to love your husband because you have no other choice. That's how marriage works. That's how it's always worked," I said. "But what if I can't? What if I can never love him?" she said. "Then you pretend. You close your eyes and pretend. You do your duty, and you give him heirs, and you run his household, and you find your happiness in your children. That's what women do. That's what women have always done," I said. "I don't want to spend my life pretending," she said. "Want doesn't matter. Duty matters. Family matters. You are not just Isabella. You are Lady Isabella of Hastings, and your choices affect everyone who depends on this family, the peasants in our villages, your brothers, your future nieces and nephews. Are you going to condemn them all because you have feelings for some landless knight?" I didn't have an answer. My father found out too, days ago. Not about Edmund specifically, but about my reluctance. My mother told him I was having doubts. He came to my chamber that night. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He just sat down and spoke to me like I was a business partner, not his daughter. He said, "Isabella, I'm going to explain something to you. Lord William has agreed to this match because he needs a young wife who can still bear children. His current heir is weak, sickly, probably won't survive another winter. He needs backup heirs. That's why he wants you," I said. "So I'm a broodmare," he said. "You're a noblewoman. Your value is your bloodline and your fertility. That's the reality of our world. I didn't create it. I'm just trying to navigate it," he continued. "If you refuse this match, Lord William will be humiliated. He'll demand compensation, probably £50 or more. We don't have £50. I'll have to sell land. Maybe even the eastern village, do you understand? Your refusal will cost us a third of our income," I said. "Then let me enter a convent. At least then there's no insult. I'm choosing God over marriage. No one can fault you for that." He laughed, a cold, bitter laugh. "The church requires a dowry for high-born nuns. A substantial one? We can't afford that either. And even if we could, you'd still be wasting your bloodline. Your children could have secured alliances for 3 generations. In a convent, you produce nothing," I said. "So my only options are marry Lord William or destroy my family." He said, "Yes, those are your only options. I wish it were different, but it's not." Then he said something that cut deeper than anything else. "Your mother didn't love me when we married, did you know that? She was in love with someone else, a poet, a nobody. Her father forbade the match, just like I'm forbidding yours." She cried for weeks, refused to eat, threatened to drown herself in the river. I stared at him. "I'd never heard this before," he continued. "But she did her duty. She married me. And over the years, we built something. Maybe not passion, but partnership, respect, family. She gave me you and your brothers. She helped me build everything we have, and I think, in her way, she's come to love me, or at least appreciate what we've accomplished together." He stood up and walked to the door. Before he left, he said, "You can have your poet, Isabella, but you'll lose everything else. Is he worth it?" I've been asking myself that question for 2 days. Is Edmund worth losing my family? Worth condemning my brothers to lesser marriages? Worth forcing my parents to sell their land? Worth becoming a cautionary tale that other nobles tell their daughters? I don't know. All I know is that, when I think about lying beneath Lord William, feeling his old body on top of mine, bearing children who'll call him father, I want to scream, I want to run, I want to disappear. But when I think about Edmund, about his smile, his laugh, the way he says my name like it's a prayer, I feel hope. I feel like maybe there's a version of my life where I'm more than just a bargaining chip. The wedding is in 2 weeks. I have to decide, and I don't know what to do. So here's my question. Am I the asshole for refusing to marry Lord William when I know it will devastate my family? Is it selfish to want love when duty demands sacrifice? Or am I just being a foolish girl who's read too many romantic poems and doesn't understand how the world really works? Please, someone tell me what to do because I'm drowning, and I can't see the shore. Let's check the comments from her fellow medieval Europeans who weighed in on her impossible choice. Top comment from user Lady Margaret, mother of Isabella. I am her mother. I know she's reading this, so I'll say it publicly. You are being selfish beyond measure. You think I don't understand love? You think I don't know what it feels like to want something you can't have? I burned that poet's letters the night before my wedding. I burned them and I watched them turn to ash, and I told myself that was my old life dying. My new life was duty. And you know what? That duty gave me you. It gave me your brothers. It gave me a home, a purpose, a legacy. Is your knight going to give you that? Can he protect you when bandits raid? Can he feed your children when winter comes? Love is beautiful, Isabella, but love doesn't pay debts. Love doesn't feed peasants. Love doesn't keep a family together. Do your duty. Marry Lord William. Learn to find peace in service. That's what women do. Reply. From Lady Isabella, daughter of Hastings. Mother, I don't want to burn my letters. I don't want to pretend my heart never existed. Reply from Lady Margaret, mother of Isabella. Then you'll burn alone. Comment from user Sir Edmundo Fashworth. I'm the knight she mentioned. I'm writing this knowing it could cost me my position, maybe my life, but I need to say something. I love Isabella. I love her more than glory, more than honor, more than my own survival. If she chooses duty, I'll understand. I'll leave this household and never see her again. But if she chooses me, I swear on my father's grave that I will spend every day of my life trying to be worthy of her sacrifice. I have nothing to offer but my sword and my heart, but both are hers, completely and forever. Isabella, whatever you decide, know that you are loved, not for your bloodline, not for your fertility, for you. Reply from Lady Isabella, daughter of Hastings. Edmund, you shouldn't have written this if my father sees it. Reply from Sir Edmundo Fashworth. Let him see it, I'm tired of hiding. Comment from user Baron Robert of Hastings. I'm her father. I've read this entire thread, including that knight's idiotic declaration. Sir Edmund, you're dismissed from my service effective immediately. Leave my lands by sunset tomorrow, or I'll have you arrested for attempted abduction of a noblewoman. As for my daughter, you have 2 choices. Marry Lord William as planned, or be disowned. If you choose the knight, you leave with nothing. No dowry, no clothes, no family name. You'll be Isabella Nobody, wife of a wandering sellsword, begging for scraps until you die in some ditch. Is that the life you want? Choose wisely. You have until Sunday Mass. Comment from user Lord William of Blackmore. I am the intended groom. I've heard rumors about this situation and I want to address them directly. Lady Isabella, I know I'm not the husband you dreamed of. I'm old, I'm tired. I've buried 2 wives and watched too many children die young, but I'm also wealthy, powerful, and in need of an heir. I won't pretend this is a love match. It's business, but I can offer you comfort, security, and respect. I don't beat my wives. I don't keep mistresses. I just want someone to manage my household and give me 1 or 2 more sons before I die. Is that so terrible? Think about what I'm offering. A castle, servants, wealth beyond anything your father can provide. Think about what the knight is offering. Nothing. Choose comfort over passion. You'll thank me in 10 years. Reply from Lady Isabella, daughter of Hastings. And what about love, my lord? Reply from Lord William of Blackmore. Love is for troubadours. We are nobles. Comment from user Young Noble Woman, Anonymous. I was in your position 3 years ago. I chose duty. I married the man my father selected, a lord twice my age with breath like a rotting fish. On our wedding night, I closed my eyes and imagined I was somewhere else. I've done that every night since. I have 2 children now. I run a household of 40 servants. I'm respected, comfortable, and utterly miserable. Not a day goes by that I don't wonder what happened to the boy I loved. I heard he married a merchant's daughter and seems happy. I'm not telling you what to choose. I'm just telling you the truth. Duty doesn't get easier. You just get better at pretending. Comment from user Friar Thomas of Canterbury. The church teaches that marriage is sacred. a union blessed by God, but it also teaches that marriage should be entered freely, without coercion, if your heart belongs to another. Forcing yourself into a loveless union may be a greater sin than refusing it. Pray, my child, pray for guidance, and know that God sees your struggle and loves you regardless of what you decide. Comment from user Peasant Woman Mary. I'm just a peasant, so maybe my opinion doesn't matter, but I married for love. My husband has nothing but strong arms and a good heart. We struggle every winter. Sometimes we go hungry, but every night, I fall asleep next to a man who adores me. And I wake up grateful. I wouldn't trade that for all the castles in England. Nobility seems like a prison to me. At least in poverty, we're free. Reply from Lady Isabella, daughter of Hastings. That's beautiful, but I've never been hungry. I don't know if I could survive it. Reply from Peasant Woman Mary. You'd be surprised what you can survive when you have someone who loves you. Comment from user Younger Brother Thomas. I'm her brother. I'm 14. If Isabella refuses this marriage, my future is ruined. I'll never marry well. Our family will be disgraced. I'll probably have to become a monk or a soldier. The only paths open to second sons of fallen houses. I love my sister, but I also want a future. Is it so wrong to ask her to sacrifice for the family that raised her? Reply from Lady Isabella, daughter of Hastings. Thomas, I'm sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. Reply from Younger Brother Thomas. Then don't. 1 week after the original post, an update appeared. Update from Lady Isabella, daughter of Hastings. I made my decision. Sunday Mass came. My father stood at the altar and asked me, in front of the entire congregation, if I would honor my betrothal to Lord William of Blackmore. I looked at my mother. She was crying silently, her hands clasped in prayer. I looked at my brothers. Thomas wouldn't meet my eyes. I looked at Lord William, standing in the front pew, already dressed in his finest clothes for the wedding next week. And then I looked at the back of the church, where Edmund was standing. He'd refused to leave despite my father's order. He was there, watching me, his eyes full of something I'd never seen before. Hope, desperate, terrified hope. I opened my mouth to say yes, to do my duty, to sacrifice my heart for my family, but the word wouldn't come. Instead, I said, I cannot. The church went silent. My mother sobbed. My father's face turned to stone. Lord William stood up and walked out without a word. My father grabbed my arm and dragged me out of the church. He threw me into a carriage and took me back to the manor. He locked me in my chamber and told me I would stay there until I came to my senses. That was 3 days ago. Yesterday, something changed. A messenger arrived from the north. He brought news that's spreading across England like wildfire. The plague has arrived. A ship from Italy landed in Dorset last week, carrying rats and death. The sickness is spreading faster than anyone can track. Entire villages are dying. The roads are clogged with refugees. The king has ordered quarantines, but it's too late. The death is here, and Lord William of Blackmore is dead. He caught the plague 2 days after leaving our church. His entire household is infected. Half his servants are already gone. His sickly heir died yesterday. The man I was supposed to marry is dead. The alliance my father sacrificed everything for is worthless. My father came to my chamber this morning. He looked older than I've ever seen him. He said, Lord William is dead. The betrothal is void. You got your wish. I said, I'm sorry, father. He said, don't be. The plague is coming for all of us. Marriages, alliances, none of it matters now. We're all gonna die. Then he did something he's never done before. He hugged me, held me close and whispered, I just wanted to protect you. I just wanted our family to survive. I'm sorry I made you feel like cattle. I cried. We both cried. Edmund came to my window that night. He'd been hiding in the village, waiting for news. I told him what happened. He said, come with me, right now, before the plague reaches us. I said, where would we go? He said, anywhere, everywhere. Does it matter? We're together. I looked back at my chamber, at the life I'd always known. The tapestries, the candles, the embroidered pillows my mother made for me when I was born. Then I looked at Edmund, and I climbed out the window. We're riding north now towards Scotland, where they say the plague hasn't reached yet. We have 2 horses, some food, a little money I saved from my allowance. It's not much. It's almost nothing. But Edmund is beside me, his hand is in mine, and for the first time in my life, I feel free. I don't know if we'll survive the winter. I don't know if the plague will catch us. I don't know anything about the future, but I know I made my choice and I don't regret it. Whatever happens next, I chose love. I chose myself. I chose to be more than a bargaining chip, and that has to count for something. Final comment from user Historian from the Future. The Black Death killed nearly half of Europe's population between 1347 and 1351. Entire noble families were wiped out. The old social order crumbled, and in the chaos, something strange happened. Common people gained power. Labor became valuable. Peasants could negotiate. Women found new freedoms in a world desperate for survivors. Isabella and Edmund? We don't know what happened to them. History doesn't record every love story, but we know this. The world she fled from was about to be destroyed anyway. Maybe she was running from nothing, or maybe she was running toward everything. Either way, she chose. And in a world where most women had no choices at all, that choice was revolutionary. This is the story of Lady Isabella of Hastings, a girl who refused to be sold, a woman who chose love over duty, a rebel who ran toward an uncertain future because the certain one was unbearable. 600 years later, women are still fighting the same battles, still being told to sacrifice themselves for family, for tradition, for duty, still being asked to close their eyes and pretend. But every generation has its Isabellas, women who say no, women who climb out windows, women who ride toward freedom, even when freedom might mean death. Maybe that's the real lesson. Not that love conquers all, not that duty doesn't matter, but that choosing yourself, even when the world tells you not to, is always worth something. If you enjoyed this deep dive into medieval Europe, smash that like button and subscribe for more impossible historical choices. Next time, we're going to revolutionary France, where a mother must decide whether to steal bread to feed her starving children or risk the gallows. Drop a comment. Would you have married Lord William? Or would you have climbed out that window with Edmund? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. And remember, the past isn't just castles and kings, it's real women making impossible choices that echo through centuries. See you next time.